Hi everyone, I just wanted to let you know that you're doing such a great job on your compare and contrast essays. I want to let you know this week is, of course, just the draft. So what does that mean for your grade? If you hand it in and you have all of the basic elements, then you get 100%. I make a lot of comments when I go through student writing just because I use that as a way to guide you and teach you through your particular writing needs. So the rough drafts are extremely important. Because that's where I teach you personally. So when you open up your document and look at it, you're probably going to see a lot of edits and you might freak out, but don't freak out. And I do make a lot of comments, and you know what? They're not all bad. So don't be alarmed when you first open it up. There are some good comments in there too, I promise. So some overarching issues that I'm seeing that I want to address to the whole class. First of all, there are many different ways and styles of citing information, and even different corporations have their own style of citing information. But for this class, we are using MLA, which is the Modern Language Association. There is also APA, which is the American Psychological Association, and there's the Chicago Manual. I'm seeing a lot of kind of Chicago style reminiscent citations in your papers. You do not need to use the Chicago. In fact, I'd prefer that you don't. The Chicago Manual, I've read it and I actually have it in my office at work. It's like this thick and it's chunky and clunky, and I think that unless you are going to become a professional writer or go on for your PhD, you don't need to worry yourself with that at this point. I used to be a tutor for a large university, a writing tutor, and Chicago Manual never came up in assignments. So I really would put Chicago Manual in the back of your mind, and I'll explain the difference. Maybe you don't even know you're doing Chicago Manual, and that's, But so APA is American Psychological Association, and that is what you would use if you were writing scientific, mathematic, sociological type papers. That's what you would use. The differences are they use a title page. Also, there's an abstract. An abstract is basically a paragraph stating what your paper is going to be. You don't need to do all that. We're doing MLA, which is the Modern Language Association, which is what you will be using in college in your composition and English classes, or if you do any humanities such as history, philosophy, things like that, would use MLA. And actually MLA is pretty simple, and I think that once you I know you all are used to doing citations a different way, but once you get used to the MLA style, you're going to realize this is so much easier, and you're going to thank me. So this is what a bibliography looks like with the MLA style. I'll post a picture. And this is what an in-text citation looks like with MLA style. Okay, so the in-text citation has the last name of the author and the page number, no comma or anything like that. Okay, now this changes. This is the 8th edition. This is the 8th edition, so it changes often. So you do need to just kind of make sure which version your professors are assigning you. It could be 7, it could be 6, but 8 is the most recent. There will probably be a 9 soon, so just keep up on that. And this is how I want you to cite things, okay? Now, I will possibly give you a chance to play around with some APA at some point. I may assign some sort of small research paper where you can try out APA just so that it's in your pocket for when you get to college and you take a science course. You have seen it before and it's not confusing to you. But these are the two that we will use in the class, but primarily we will use MLA. So please, I'm going to post some websites, and maybe I'm going to try and find some kind of documents that can help you. Please always refer to those. It's really important because at some point I'm going to have to start taking off points if your citations are not in the prescribed way that I am assigning them. Okay, so it's hard to get used to, and honestly, a lot of college students have problems formatting in the correct style that their professor wants. You always have to, if the professor does not state what style they're using, always ask. Okay, very good. Now, the second thing that I want to talk to you about is every academic paper should be written in third person point of view. Okay, so what does that mean? What is point of view? And this is something we're going to get to with literature soon. Point of view is the vantage point of the writer. Okay, so if you are writing in first person point of view, you would be using a lot of I's, me's. You would refer to yourself. If you were using second person point of view, you would be talking to the reader. So, I need you to do this. So often the way I write in my assignments, you will need to write this paper. That is second person point of view. Okay, next is third person point of view, and all of your academic papers should be in third person point of view with a small exception, which I will talk about. Third person point of view is you're on the outside looking in. Okay, so let's look at what it would look like. So first person point of view, I should learn to write well. Okay, second person point of view, you should learn to write well. Okay, now here's the difference. With third person point of view, college students should learn to write well. Okay, do you see the difference? There's a lot of confusion sometimes, especially if you're writing your opinion. You want to say me, us, we. You want to say that. Don't say that. You need to place it in third person point of view. So how do you do that when you're stating your opinion? Write your opinion as a fact. Okay, switch your thinking that this is my opinion and write it as if it is truth and it is fact, because especially in your thesis statement, you are going to be backing up that thesis statement within your paper, proving it. Okay, so third person point of view is always the best way to go for academic papers. And here's my exception, every once in a while, first person can come in if it is a personal anecdote and a personal experience that adds to your thesis statement. You can use that, but use it sparingly. But I'm going to add to that, it is really hard for readers if you flip back and forth between third person and first person. So I would really try to avoid doing that. So yeah, if you need help doing any of that, please contact me, or if you want me to read it before the paper's due and say, hey, did I do this third person point of view thing correctly, I am open and willing to reading it again. In fact, I would love that. So yeah. Okay, one more thing that I wanted to point out to you before I go. I am making very detailed comments in your paper at this point. Now, if I see a problem like with the citations or not using third person point of view, and it starts at the beginning of the paper and goes throughout the paper, I'm not going to point it out in every single instance. What I'm going to do is point it out in the first one or two instances and have you then check your paper and go back and make those changes. That way you're seeing what I'm saying and you're making the changes yourself and you're finding those mistakes yourself, and that is a part of learning. But as we go on closer and closer to the end of the school year, I'm going to be switching and not making comments and just putting like a little check mark next to sentences that I want you to look at. And what you will have to do is figure out what the error is or how you can word it differently. So by the end of the year, instead of comments in your drafts, you're going to have check marks, because you need to learn how to find these common errors yourself. Unless there's something big that I really need to teach you about, then I will do that. But in most cases, especially if it's an error that is made often, I will just use a check mark. Okay, thanks. Yeah, you guys have been doing a really great job, and I'm so proud of you. Thanks.